Oh my gosh, this feels so wild.
A couple years ago, Lumix changed the trajectory of their brand forever. They finally gave users a camera with amazing video features and reliable pixel-based autofocus for the first time in Panasonic history. That was the S5 II, but they also gave us a beefed up, blacked out version called the S5 IIX. Now let me introduce you to a new version of these cameras. This is the S1IIE. I just call him Jimmy. Think of Jimmy as a rehoused, upgraded S5 IIX with some brand new features, some fixes, and some things you're probably not gonna like. For instance, it's not blacked out, but I think I can fix that one. Much better now, guys, trust me, okay? This now looks like a rehoused, beefed up S5 IIX. They also have another flagship camera dropping today, the S1 Mark II, which is what I'm filming this video with. And in my S1 Mark II video, I filmed it with Jimmy here. And then later this week, I have a video coming out comparing the S1 II, the Jimmy, and the S1R2. So get subscribed for that. Now let's dive into this thing. This video is sponsored by Professional Photographers of America. So the first main difference is the price. This guy is only $2,500 USD, whereas the other two new Lumix cameras are $3,300. We'll dive more into comparisons in my other video coming out later this week. Wonder if I should have got B-roll of the camera before I painted it. This is the exact same body as the S1R2 and the S1 II, which is honestly amazing for consistency's sake. If you're gonna use multiple Lumix cameras, it's nice that they have the exact same screen design, EVF, buttons, dials, ports, batteries, everything is identical. You get an SD card slot, CF Express Type B, full-size HDMI, USB-C with power delivery, and finally, webcam functionality. So all you have to do is plug a USB-C cable into this camera, the other end into your computer, and then your apps like Zoom, FaceTime, OBS will recognize these cameras as a webcam. No more third-party apps or shenanigans going on. The S1R2 is also getting this update with firmware. Freaking awesome. And you can get 4K 15 frames per second, which I don't know who's gonna be using that, but you also get full HD at 60 and 30. I did some testing with this and the feed looks amazing. You can also bake in real-time LUTs. So if you wanna use one of my LUTs that I have, link in the description, it's free for my patrons. There's other USB modes that you can use on this camera too. Like you can just plug this into your computer and then transfer your files over to your computer if you don't have a CF Express Type B card reader. You get a headphone jack, mic jack, and the hot shoe is intelligent, so you can get 32-bit float on this more affordable camera with the external Lumix audio recorder. And you're gonna see a trend here where there's a lot of crossover in the features. They barely pulled any punches. Also, to my surprise, you get the same EVF as the other two with the 5.76 million dots, 120 FPS OLED, and the incredible screen design that flips out like this, and it also tilts and pops out from the camera body. This is the greatest screen design in mirrorless camera history. And if you end up shooting with multiple of these Lumix cameras, you can save all your custom buttons, settings, and everything to an SD card or CF Express card, put it in your other camera, and then load it into your other cameras to immediately make them shoot exactly like your first camera. For photography performance, these cameras, the new S line, is the first Lumix cameras I've ever really loved shooting photography with. I think it's a combination of their body style and just how the cameras feel in the hand and how the results of the photos look, and also their amazing photo features. And my favorite one in specific is the real-time LUTs. I don't know why, but I tried shooting photos with the S5 IIX. I'm sure there's people out there that shoot photos with it and they enjoy it, but for whatever reason, these new S-Line cameras, I just highly prefer them. They just feel like dedicated photo cameras, but they're hybrid. They're truly hybrid, where they also feel like dedicated video cameras. So for photos, you get 10 frames per second burst mechanical and 30 frames per second electronic shutter. Pretty dang good for the more affordable option. And you get that amazing real-time LUT feature, which means if you're shooting in JPEG, you can bake in LUTs and looks and just get amazing results right off the bat. In camera, you can add color noise, grain of 3 different strengths if you want. If you're making photo and video your actual profession, you need to keep yourself safe with insurance, which is why I use today's sponsor, PPA. Right off the bat, you get up to $15,000 of gear equipment insurance, so if some vandal paints over your camera, you can have help. Also, there's an indemnification trust, so if you run into any issues with clients or data loss, you can actually get PPA's assistance to get you through a situation that hopefully you won't have to go through, but with something like PPA, you have people at your back. Not only that, they have resources to help you run your business better with online education. You can get contract templates, invoices, and rate cards to help you build your business to actually become successful. So if you want to take your work seriously, keep yourself safe, and support my channel, check out the link below to Professional Photographers of America and use my link to help support. Appreciate you guys. But now let's get into the video stuff, which is pretty juicy on this camera. First off, the sensor in this camera is the exact same as the S5IIX, which what I heard at the event was this sensor originated in the Sony a7 III. So this sensor's been around for quite a while. You'll see why that's a good thing and a bad thing. First good thing is this more affordable Lumix option can shoot 6K open gate full frame up to 30 frames per second video. Now for slow motion, this is gonna be either a bummer or something exciting for you guys. It can do 6K 60p 48 and it can do 4K 60. However, those higher frame rates are in cinescope, so it's not the full height and width of the full frame sensor. Really, my only complaint with the S5IIX was the fact that 4K 60 was cropped in, and I used 60p quite a bit. So I was really hoping to get full frame 4K 60 out of this, but it's just a different kind of crop, and I'm gonna break down the math for you so you can see exactly what you're getting in post. Let's say you edit in a 16:9 timeline, which fills up your entire TV or computer screen. When you zoom in the Cinescope 4K 60 or 6K 60, you end up with a 1.34 crop, which is not as bad as what the S5IIX had, and that actually gives you some wiggle room to reframe on the left and right side. If you edit on a 2:1 timeline, which is what most of my videos are in, once you zoom in on those higher frame rate images, you end up with only a 1.19 crop, which is incredibly usable. And then you still get a little bit of room on the left and right edges of the frame to adjust or keyframe. And to be clear, this is not me defending the 4K 60 crop. I wish it had both options. I kind of like Cinescope for certain things, but also I wish it just did full frame 4K 60. But after talking to the people who work at Lumix, this sensor specifically just cannot do it. It's a limitation of this sensor, and that's the most they could give us. So you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. The vlog is gonna look exactly how it looked out of the S5IIX. Absolutely amazing images, but they are doing a paid firmware upgrade where you can get ARRI Log C3 down the road. You can also get that in the S1R2 and the S1II. So they're continuing the trend of Log C in their cameras. Kind of sick. I don't think I'm gonna use it, but for people who wanna use this on bigger productions, as B and C cams, you can, or you can just convert it in Resolve, I don't know. For ISO, you get 640 and 4000 as your dual natives. I'm gonna do a more detailed low light breakdown between all 3 of these cameras in my big comparison video coming out later this week. So if you're watching this in the future, it's probably already out and I'll just link it. I said this in my S1II review as well, but they added a new autofocus mode to this camera and it's the urban sports mode. And basically what I said is like, I love that we have a bunch of autofocus modes, but we now need like an AI mode that just chooses subjects for us because we get that in Canon, Sony, Nikon. I don't want to waste time swapping between all these modes when I could just be getting my shot. And for people who are going to use these for weddings and moments you can't get twice, you got to just trust the camera. But hey, I'm just a dumb YouTuber who likes autofocus. I've never shot anything that looks freaking cinematic and cool. These new cameras are very powerful and they chug through batteries. Just keep in mind you're going to need a lot of batteries. And I wasn't able to get this camera to overheat, but I have a basement studio in a cold state right now. It's been rainy and cold. I don't know what to tell you. You're gonna have to watch some other people's videos. Okay, so what do I actually think about this thing? Like real personal thoughts. Part of me thinks that this little Jimmy here is gonna get overshadowed, maybe that's why it's an all black design, by the more expensive counterparts like the S1R2 that I still use all the time and the S1II, which I'm filming with right now. But another part of me thinks this could be the ultimate sleeper hit of the next line of Lumix cameras. You're gonna be getting some of the same quirks, I guess, from the S5 IIX, like the 4K 60 or the high frame rate stuff, and there's more rolling shutter in this sensor, but hey, at least nobody ever really complains about Lumix rolling shutter, so that should be fine. But I just love that this isn't a Sony or Canon situation where they chose to cripple the more affordable camera to try to get you to buy the nicer one. They just pushed it to its limits, gave you what it can do, and put it in the brand new body with new features too to make it consistent. And I love that. But my main question is, should you abandon or sell your S5 II or S5 IIX or whatever for this newer version? I would say if you need this new screen design, which for me, I use all the time, but I'm kind of a specific use case, or you need those CineScope slow motion options, false color internally, because it does that now too. And the closest competitor on the market is probably the Nikon Z6 III in terms of price and features. I just don't think the image coming out of that camera is worth the price in comparison to this, when you also get such a good image out of this and amazing surrounding features, like really good autofocus, amazing IBIS, literally the best in the market, false color, vector scope, waveform, 32-bit float. I'm really not trying to hate on Nikon. Like, they're doing some really cool stuff. This is not what that's about. I'm sure people are gonna be mad, but I just think this camera is incredibly valuable, even compared to its counterparts, the new S-line cameras. I can't wait to see what you guys actually think. So let me know, is this something that excites you, or are you gonna be like, oh no, I got my S5, my S5 IIX, whatever. I don't need this. Maybe it's more for people who are just jumping into Lumix and they want the most affordable option, because the other two cameras now at $3,300 are pretty dang expensive. Hopefully that made sense. Text me when you get home so I know you're safe, and please watch out for deer. Follow me on Instagram for short and dumb stuff like this. Please remember that you guys are loved so much more than you might even know. You are worthy and beautiful, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. All right, bye.